Yo, James, what up, dog? I think it's about time we broke down that faith without works is dead. But at the same time, no man can earn their way to heaven. For salvation is a free gift from God. Let him know, son.
It's the stick and move, worship a figure with no trigger, whose demands are still bigger than a stick-up dude. My man's not gunning for your bankroll, he wants your rank soul to lift you out of your dank hole. You need to make a decision, cause the way that you're sinning have you gritting teeth, no relief, weeping in eternal prison. His power's burning, lights brighter than white fire. Take your gloves off, he's the eternal prize fighter. I got a word for you Christians that claim that you're with them, made a decision, won't obey in the way that you're living. James claims that faith without works isn't sufficient to save any man. Salvation requires submission. You talk about him like he's your friend with benefits, but you don't abide in him like evicted tenants is, not currently residing inside of their former residence. You have no union with them, spiritual confederates. My lyrical impediments still stir up all the sediment of practical disbelief in the culturally regenerate. These lyrical impediments still stir up all the sediment of practical disbelief in the culturally regenerate.
The odds the champ will win infinity to zero. Put your money where your mouth is or face the same fate as Nero. You gotta stick to the word and move like the Christ. The heavy weight of the world is infamous for taking life. In this life, sin seems like the bigger dude, but in Christ we see the perfect fight. Stick and move, dance with the devil and get your hell's bells rung. Or drink from the well of living water, dwell with the sun.
What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, be warmed and filled, without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Jesus tells us that the world will know us by our love for one another. We can't simply tell people we have faith, but rather prove it through our works.
It's hard to tell the difference between an injured faith and the sin of unbelief, which means your faith is fake. But if your faith is fake, then your fate's the lake, and your Christianese is useless as a paperweight. Even as you're thinking, man, church is great for socializing and volunteering late. Mistake, these things can be great for the church, but the place of the works is after the main concern of sanctifying saints first from the thirst to be disobedient to the same one providing the grace that's freedom, Christ, the one best approach to reverent fear, who destroys nations and determines sinners' years and equips believers with the strength to persevere and enter into his grace even after they veered. But it's important to remember, if there's no action at all, chances are you didn't hear Christ when he called. When death hits you harder than Anderson Silva, there will be no gloves to cushion the blow of the killer, taking your life, deservingly so. Forced to depart from the God you swore you know.
The odds the champ will win infinity to zero. Put your money where your mouth is or face the same fate as Nero. You gotta stick to the word and move like the Christ. The heavy weight of the world is infamous for taking life. In this life, sin seems like the bigger dude, but in Christ we see the perfect fight. Stick and move, dance with the devil and get your hell's bells rung. Or drink from the well of living water, dwell with the sun.
Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. The same God that justifies us by grace, sanctifies us by grace. Salvation is monogenistic. Our justification is counterfeit if sanctification does not follow.